It's time for Wheels Up from the United States of America, based right here in Dubai, where he has a huge following. He's taking strength to whole new levels, and it's time to Wheels Up. Welcome to the arena, Larry Wheels!
Larry Wheels was at the forefront of the modern arm wrestling era as the pioneer of monetizing the sport for the masses. King of the Table 1, 2, and 4 were far and away ahead of the competition in terms of presentation, delivery, and overall quality of broadcast. In spite of East vs. West being filled to the brim with screamers, as the cool kids say, nothing on the horizon will likely eclipse the feeling that coursed through our veins as the introductions were about to begin for Devin vs. Levon, which was masterfully delivered to us via the King of the Table and Larry Wheels. But ever since that moment, Hermes and Levon notwithstanding, King of the Table has been in a bit of a rut in a few different aspects. And unfortunately for us fans, most of this relates to the amount of matches we receive in relation to what the event costs, as well as the quality of what has been offered lately. Don't get me wrong, I'm absolutely rooting for Larry Wheels to win the long game in this one. I'm as big of a supporter of quality over quantity myself as it gets, and thankfully this 8th installment King of the Table begins to move towards matching the strength of its competitor, East vs. West. King of the Table 8 nearly doubles the amount of arm wrestling matches over the meager 3 offered from King of the Table 7. In addition to this, the quality and consistency of the matches appear more evenly allocated across the board as well. I've said in previous videos that the Hermes vs. Devin match at East vs. West was a bit of a missed opportunity, and I believe it was a match that would have thrived had it not been rushed. I think everything in general would have been executed better if this particular match were in a King of the Table setting, for a number of reasons that I might save for another video. In my opinion, though, King of the Table holds a distinct edge in terms of style and presentation over its competitors. If King of the Table is eventually able to find the sweet spot, other promotions would have no choice but to up their game in response. Having said that, there's a reason King of the Table has lost ground since King of the Table 2, and if Larry wants to close the gap between him and his competition, he needs to be honest about why that is, and continue to up his game and find the number of matches that fans believe is the sweet spot for an arm wrestling card. And I believe he does take that step in the right direction for King of the Table 8. As fans, we need this to happen because anything less, and we risk getting stuck in a status quo where both the prices will climb and the quality of the production will dip. With this in mind, it is my pleasure to predict the matches I believe fans are most looking forward to seeing on this Saturday at King of the Table 8. Okay, Ron Bath versus Matt Mask. Ron is a living legend in the sport of arm wrestling, and come to think of it, Matt Mask has been doing this a long time as well. In the past, Ron has had Matt Mask's number, but surely at some point, Father Time will come calling for Ron Bath, right?
He's part vampire
Maybe,
or something, right?
but not today, and not this Saturday either. Ron Bath takes this one 4-1 and has simply too much side pressure for the wild horse. Okay, next is Sergey Kalinachenko versus Chance Shaw. Now, speaking of Father Time, the USA has been gradually losing ground to other countries as legend of the sport approach 60. But fear not, an ascending crop of young rising stars are set to take over in the coming years, and the brightest of these rising stars, Chance Shaw, looked incredible just a few weeks back at Knuckles Up against an extremely formidable Sabine Badalescu. Perhaps Sabine had been spending too much time embroiled in his master's iron fist. But whatever the case, the manner in which Chance won that match leads me to believe he will be able to edge this one out against Sergey, who himself looked good against Matt Mask a few weeks back. Chance takes it 4-2. Okay, next is Krasimir Kostadinov and Lachlan Adair. Two of the best hookers in the sport makes for one hard-to-predict match. We have little to no recent data on Krasimir's right arm, and Lachlan has been moderately active over the last couple of years. In that same time span, Krasi has been sidelined with an injury and hasn't been pulling anywhere close to the volume and the level he was at prior to 2021. While the top rollers he has faced have given him fits, this match should be a return to his bread and butter. Even still, I think Krasi will need another year to approach the level we know he's capable of. Although I really would like to see him win, I believe Lachlan will win this one 4-0, but Krasny will rebound from this and will ascend to new heights in 2024. Okay, and finally, Alexi Voivoda and John Brzenk. Finally, we get some closure on the way our favorite arm wrestling documentary, Pulling John, ends. It was so very unsatisfying to see John dejected in the manner in which he was in that 2004 match, and he's had nearly 20 years to stew over what he could have done differently. The footage has been archived, analyzed, and reanalyzed by John and just about anyone with a YouTube channel these days. John has been in a bit of funk as of late, and he's struggled with issues relating to endurance and his hand and wrist being taken. For my money, the last time John looked like John was against Chance Shaw a couple of years ago. If there's one thing we know, it's that Alexi has been training hard for this one, and whenever he has a singular goal in mind, he usually stops at nothing to achieve it. Though I'm rooting for John, he simply hasn't been the same since the Devon match, and I believe, once again, this one will end in disappointment for us fans of USA Arm Wrestling, with Alexi Voivoda taking this one 4-1. Hopefully he makes the most of this opportunity and then embarks on a new journey thereafter, making his mark on the modern era of arm wrestling. Thanks everybody for watching the video. Please remember to like it and subscribe to the channel. I would appreciate it just so much. Thank you.